everybody. Let's spend just a couple minutes talking about our next assignment. Assignment 1, Milestone 1, Submission Writing Plan Draft, where we actually plan how we're going to write that critical analysis that we have spent a couple weeks talking about so far. So what exactly is our writing plan draft? Well, it's a draft of what our writing plan is. Important thing, this is a double submission, a dual submission, so we need to submit our responses in MindEdge. Download them, open them up in a Word document, reformat them, so it's double spaced and our paragraphs are indented, and then submit it in Brightspace, and I'll show you where we can do that. So what exactly is our writing plan draft? Well, over the past couple weeks, we've talked a little bit about, well, a lot about critical analysis, how we do it, who our audience is, what our goal is, who the audience for that piece is, what we want that audience to learn, all that kind of awesome stuff. And as you sit down to do this assignment, if you find yourself having some questions about all that stuff, let's talk about it. Text, email, let's post in the general discussion forum. Let's keep that conversation going, because if you have a question, it's likely that somebody else has a question similar or maybe even the same one. So what are we doing for this assignment with all of that thinking? What are we going to be doing for this assignment? Well, we're essentially going to be answering some specific questions to help us actively read and analyze our selected reading. And this is all in preparation for that critical analysis essay that we will submit in Module 8. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be thinking about the author's claim, key points that they use, the audience, what your goal is, what evidence we could use from that article to support our goal, what your feelings are on feedback, and what your feelings are on revision. So it's essentially a plan of action to help us move forward to our critical analysis. All right, to complete this assignment, we do want to reread that selected article using the analysis techniques that we have been talking about over the past couple weeks. There's going to be a lot of rereading in this class. We really want to dig in and get super familiar with that article. So reread the article, reread your notes, maybe do some new ones, and get to really actively reading and analyzing these ideas. Okay, and then we are going to answer some prompts, download the prompts, if I could speak, it'd be easier to teach, right? Download them into a Word document, then upload that Word document as well. Okay? And the whole purpose of this is going to allow you to develop a possible structure for effectively communicating and supporting your claim in that critical analysis essay. We are essentially building sort of a plan of action, a scaffolding, if you will, for our final paper. It's going to clearly state your author's goal in his or her article. It's going to identify your reaction to that goal, and it will explain why you had that reaction. Okay, the writing plan is going to be helpful in keeping your thought process on track as we continue to move forward with writing and revising our essay. All right, step 1, let's reread that article. There's my fan, I'm sorry, it's loud. And with the techniques that we've been talking about, the critical active reading. Okay, and then remember you can click on these and it'll open up a copy of that article as well. So what we're answering with prompt 1 is: revisit your original interpretation of the author's goals that we did in the notes, and restate the claim that's going to be addressed in your analysis essay. We want to talk about if the author's goal has changed, if your interpretation has changed through all of your analytical reading, and if so, how. So what is your goal, and has that goal changed at all through the rereadings and the critical analysis that we've been doing? In step 2, remember you want to submit. In prompt 2, have you identified any new key points that the author uses to try to achieve his or her goal? If so, include them here. If not, if you're still seeing the same trend, the same information, explain why the key points from your writing notes have remained the same, even after conducting active reading of this article again. 3, we want to restate who that audience is that will be reading your essay. And remember, I will be reading your essay, but I am not your audience. Who outside of our virtual classroom is going to want to read your paper and benefit from your paper? And then what challenges might you have in reaching or supporting your argument with this group of people? Prompt 4, your goal is going to be the end result that you wish to achieve in writing the critical analysis. So what do you hope to accomplish with this essay? For example, as we mentioned before, you might disagree with the author, or maybe you do agree with them. So what is the ultimate goal that you have for this critical analysis? What do you want your audience to take away from your interpretation? 5, evidence is that material that supports our argument. So based on your claim, where would potential evidence be most supportive? For example, if I'm taking and talking about Amy Tan's article and I'm arguing that she really shows a new perspective on the challenges of being raised in an English as a second language household. So where in her essay would support that kind of an argument? So think about the evidence that you can use, and if you disagree with the author's point, you would want to use evidence to support that. So we have our claim, we have our idea, where in our essay will benefit from having evidence, and consider too what evidence you would like to use to support what you're saying. Number 6, receiving feedback. Feedback is beneficial even though it's occasionally uncomfortable. Okay, I want you to think about how your own writing can improve from receiving feedback and how that feedback can be integrated in the final project. So maybe, for example, feedback from your peers or feedback from your professor can help you gather some new insight on your writing. And you're going to use that insight to make better connections between your evidence and the article that you're reading. So how do you think you can benefit from feedback, and how will you use that feedback in the revision process? And speaking of revision processes are when we reread and rework the essays that we're writing. We make significant changes in content, organization to help our argument be stronger. And we will talk a lot about revisions in the coming weeks. But I want you to tell us, so we have a starting point, what your preferred revision strategy is. And I smile because I always say this one, and I don't know if students understand that it's really, really valuable. One of the big revision strategies that I suggest is reading it out loud, and it's actually a suggestion here. And I know reading out loud can sound silly, but it really helps you connect with what you're writing. So what is your preferred revision style? Do you like peer reviews? Do you love instructor feedback? Do you read your essay aloud? Do you read it backwards? How do you use revision, and what do you think that the best or most effective revision strategy would be? Okay. And then that's what we're essentially doing. I know that's a lot, so let's go over it real quick in just a nutshell. All right, number 1, which is the article that you are doing? Has your opinion of the author's goal changed? If so, how? If not, why do you believe that after all of these other rereadings, your opinion hasn't changed? 2, have you identified any new key points to support what the author is saying? With all of this rereading and reinterpreting, have your key points changed at all? 3, restate who your audience is. Remember, it's not just me. Who else out there in the big wide world would benefit from reading your paper, and what challenges do you have in connecting with them? What is your end goal? What do you want your audience to take away from your interpretation? 5, what evidence do you think you can use to support what you're saying, to support your claim, and where will you use it in your essay? 6, you'll be receiving feedback. How do you think feedback is beneficial, and where will you be using it? How will you be using it as you move forward? I don't know if you guys can hear my dogs rustling around in the other room. 7, and during the revision process, what do you find most effective? Do you read your paper out loud? Do you have outside viewers read it? What is the most effective revision strategy that you have? All right, now remember, you want to submit everything, and then you also want to download it and open it back up, reformat it so it looks like a proper essay. Then we also want to submit it in our Brightspace area. Remember to do that after we submit in MindEdge. We want to click on Course menu, click on Assignments, and it's going to take us to our Assignments page. And then we want to click on the assignment you want to submit, which will be our writing plan draft. Click on that. It's going to give you a little bit of information, show you your rubric again, all that cool stuff. And then you want to hit submit. Now let's touch base on the rubric real quick, okay? What are we looking for in this assignment? We want to talk about the author's claim. We want to talk about the author's key points. We want to talk about the audience. We want to talk about your goals. We want to talk about the evidence that you will use, your revision strategy, and your feedback. And again, we also look at the articulation of response. We want to make sure that there's no big, huge errors with grammar, and make sure that we're using proper spelling and organization. As always, if you have any questions at all, connect with me. General discussion forum, you can text, we can email, whatever we want to feel, whatever we can do to help you feel supported in this process. After you've done all that, reviewed it, you click on add a file, hit submit, and you're good to go. Hang in there. We're almost halfway through the class. You're doing great. And again, if you have any questions, connect with me. I am here to help support you.